Hey, hey, hey. Thank you for coming on and joining us on another episode of Melanated and Candid, The Color of Truth. We are here today as we're going to have a conversation about Cynthia G and this video that we're going to show y'all with regards to her defamation of our black men. It's just a poor, piddly, confused young lady. But before we get started and move into the video, I would like to introduce y'all to my lovely co-host, Miss D. How you doing today, Miss D?
I am great. How about yourself, Rox?
Pretty good. I'm pretty good. Yeah, this Sunday it was chill day. I ate like a whole bunch of peach cobbler and laid around. It was great.
Oh, I just got through watching the Cowboys game, so go Cowboys.
I have seen so many bad Dallas Cowboy memes this year.
Hey, we're not here to talk about that. We're not here to talk about anything negative in the famous words of Tony Romo.
What?
We're not here to talk about that. They won today. Let's move on.
Is that what happened?
No, they did win today. Now, week one, that was a horrible game. But yeah, we're not here to talk about that.
She said, "Oh, all right, cowgirl."
We are not here to talk about that.
Well, we definitely are going to get started and talk about this. Talk about this video here. I'm gonna try to see if I can cue it up because what we're gonna do is we'll talk about it in sections. So I'm gonna play a little bit of it, let it go, and then we'll start the conversation, and then we can go from there. Make sure I can get my
See, Miss Cynthia G, or what I call her, or what a few people call her, Synthetic G. So her take on black men is an interesting one. And what bothers me is the fact that she has such a huge following, spewing the kind of rhetoric that she spews. That's extremely alarming. But hey, it is what it is. But yeah, I can't wait to get into this conversation.
Wait a minute. Okay. So it was pretty deep too.
Say what?
Advertisement
happen, right? But I think that
you have to go back.
Is that when we have this conversation about what black men have done,
I don't even want to talk about hope.
Yep.
You can't have this conversation.
We'll get into hope later.
Help you do it all.
You can't have that conversation without.
You're the only one not being honest, Umar. You're not being honest.
Find the clip. We don't have to argue about it. We don't have to argue about it.
You just admitted to it. We don't need it.
60 seconds against black men. First of all, I want to see where you all stand just by a yes or no. Dr. Umar, is there? Yes or no?
Absolutely, yes.
Hope, is there?
No.
Duan?
Absolutely, yes.
Cynthia G, where are you on this?
The only war is the war that black men are waging against the black community.
So, yeah, she definitely just jumped right on in and got ready with the foolishness.
Right.
Didn't waste no time. She was getting ready to let them have it real quick and spread her feelings about black men. But if you go through some of, what did you call her, Synthetic G?
Yeah.
Go through some of her history and some of her videos. She has been known to have these type of shenanigans when it comes to our black men. She thinks that they are like the lesser sex. She boldly displays photos and videos of the demasculization of our black men. She has a bold one where it's just her. I don't know if that's like the intro to one of her videos, maybe, where she has like this big buff lady coddling this little frail man.
Are you serious?
Oh yeah, it's not a good look. It's pretty bad.
I'm not surprised. From what I've heard about Cynthia G, I'm not surprised. And see, I don't give her the time of day, but I felt like this one had to be talked about because I couldn't believe that even after the valid points that were brought up, she was still take away what she did or feel the way that she did and continue to spew what she spews in the Black community. So, but yeah, is there a war waged against Black men? Yeah, but we'll get to this tape and we'll decide who's the one that's actually waging that war. And I don't even know why Hope felt the need to chime in, but that's a whole nother argument in and of itself.
Shim had a I mean, everyone had a.
So is that a yes or no?
Yes, there is.
Well, there's a couple things. Number one, we have to make sure that we conduct a systems analysis and an institutional assessment. Communities are made up of institutions or the lack thereof. Communities are governed by systems or the lack thereof. Let us be very clear about something. This fratricide, this Black on Black crime that so many of our brothers are engaging in, let us remember, Irish did the same thing. Italians did the same thing. European Jews did the same thing. And in the 1930s and 1940s, the United States government decided to upgrade them to white status.
Oops. I mean to stop it just yet. Hold on, y'all.
And in so doing, gave the Italians control of the fire departments in the Black community, gave the Irish control of the police departments in the Black community, and gave the European Jewish immigrants control of the civil service municipal jobs that they still control in many city centers today. The point that I'm making, Tammy, is that America gave Southern European immigrants an economic stimulus package. Before they gave that economic stimulus package to Jews, Irish, and Italians, they were doing the exact same thing Black men are doing today, selling drugs, breaking the law, running in gangs, killing one another.
So he brought up a very valid point that there's always been this uneven playing ground when it comes to us and them. Basically, us being people of color, them being anybody else who's had the opportunity to be able to get retribution or rectify from injustices, anybody who's had the opportunity to get their reparations, anybody who was just handed the keys to the kingdom when they first came out.
I agree. But go ahead.
But the government intervened and aided them. The reason Black male pathology is still going on 30, 40, 50 years later is there has been no resolution, there have been no solutions, and there have been no governmental intervention. With that being said, I'm not waiting on the government to solve the problems of Black men. We as Black men have to unite, come together, organize, and solve our own problems. Just because we can admit that the government introduced pathology into the Black community, we can still take full responsibility for ending it ourselves.
Hope, I see you nodding.
Yes, because I feel like when you can name all of these things so eloquently and so beautifully, and yet y'all still fail at being able to do these things after years and years and years and years and years of trying, where do we find a new solution? War that we're fighting for Black men is the one that Black men are fighting within themselves. Is it about adjacency to whiteness? Is it about being able to assimilate to that white hand? Or is it really about the freedom of Black men in the Black family and the Black community? They want to assimilate to whatever whiteness, whatever white male privilege they can get. And that's a large part of the problem.
Dr. Umar, you welcomed us to the show by saying Black power. Black power. Okay. Is there some?
So first of all, I hope he's a she. The fact that you want to chime in on this conversation, I don't even know why she's been invited to this panel, because for you to be talking about a war not being waged against Black men, and you're a whole biological man who couldn't, I don't know what happened in your life. I don't know what made you go through your transition. But for you to be on a panel talking about whether or not there's a war waged against Black men and being a biological Black man. So hope he's a she. For me, I just don't even feel like they should have even chimed in on the conversation. But it's crazy to me how both of these individuals, this is what the face of the Black woman looks like. This is what Black girl magic looks like to a lot of the Black community. And it's sad that you have one Black woman who's for the genocide of Black people, and then you have another, hope he's a she, who is sitting up here wanting to talk about the struggles of Black men and for the years and years and years that they've been trying this and they've been trying that and nothing worked. Well, what about the last 50 years that y'all been raising these kids? What about that? And you ain't raised nothing but statistics. What about the 70% of those children that y'all are raising that end up in juvenile detention come from fatherless homes? What about the fact that you're criminalizing Black men every day while raising those statistics on trying to criminalize a Black man? So you want to sit up here and talk about the repeated efforts of Black men, but what about your repeated efforts in being a single parent household and the failures that you're producing?
No, they don't want to talk about that. That's not the conversation that they want to have, D. Okay, they just want to have someone to point the finger on or blame, and the Black man is always the very first victim. That's it. The strongest and the most beautiful, and they be trying to every opportunity that they can to break them down.
Right.
Some truth to the assimilation that Black men want or perceive to want when it comes to this war being waged against you.
Well, there's definitely some truth to it, but I think that truth is also evident in Black women. Black men, many of them may choose to want a white woman, but many Black women choose to look like white women. So we have to look at ourselves and we have to recognize that the pathology is not more of one gender.
I'm sorry, wait a minute. So when I first was listening to this video and I heard him make that comment, I tried to put myself in a situation where I questioned what exactly is it that he meant by saying that most Black women are trying to be like white women. And I'm not exactly sure where exactly he was going with that. I'm assuming, I don't know if it's the mentality or the privilege, the status, or if he just meant something simple as like beauty and fashion. I'm not exactly sure where he was going with that whole comment.
For me, I thought it was about hair.
Okay.
For the most part, you've adopted a European beauty standard. They're slimming their noses, or they're wearing makeup that slims their noses. They're doing all the straighteners. They're wearing all the weaves. It's the adaptation of Western culture or European culture, I should say their standard of beauty.
I was thinking along those lines, but I just wasn't sure. I'm like, is it the attitude? Like, what is it about a wonderful person that I would be interested in, or what would make me want to be just like them, or what would they possibly have or be able to do that I couldn't? And it's really sad that if I thought about it and the shoe was on the other foot as a Black man, being a white man would be considered to be a privilege. They just got it easier.
Gender than the other. That's the issue I have with conversations that seek to see who is more at fault, the Black man or the Black woman. It's not about who's more at fault. We rise together or we will perish together. The Black man cannot survive without his woman, and the Black woman cannot survive without her man. And the issue that I take with my two sisters' narrative is I hear a lot of criticism. I hear a lot of condemnation, but I don't hear any empowerment. I don't hear any solutions coming from either one of them. It appears as if that there is a hatred towards Black men by those sisters. Even when they said, why are we going back to 1960? Let's stay in 2022. That is so immature and irresponsible of a statement. As a psychologist, when a client comes into my office, the first thing I perform is a history on their depression, a history on their suicide, a history on their anxiety. When you go see the medical doctor, he performs a history. When you go buy a home, they perform a history. When you go purchase an automobile, they perform a history on that automobile. But when we talk about the problems that affect Black males, we're supposed to look at it in a vacuum. We're not supposed to put it in a historical context. And with that being said, the language and the narrative that's coming out of the mouth of these two Black women is one that I think the white power structure would endorse, because it totally absolves them of any responsibility for the hell Black men catch in this country.
And
Cynthia
that's
G,
what
you
I've
did
been
say-
saying. And see, that's the whole thing that I've been saying. The reason why these type of individuals, they get put in all these high algorithms, they have all these followings, is because they push the same rhetoric that was pushed during slavery. So basically, you've become an enemy to Black men because you're doing the same thing that they did. So for you to be out there defaming Black men when you're not, like he said, you're not providing any solutions for the community, all you're thinking about is stepping away. So how is stepping away from the community supposed to be the solution? But if a Black man decides he wants to step away, all of a sudden he's a problem. So which one is it? Either you can step away or you can't. But again, you have these women who these people who have never had to generate anything, all of a sudden we got to a place where we want to bash all the generators. Where do you think all of these handouts, where do you think all these services are going to come from if we eliminate the male from the population? If we decide, okay, we really don't need men, they don't do this, they don't do that, we can survive on our own, we're strong this, we're strong that. Where do you think all this is going? When we were watching this on World Class is live early today, and shout out to World Class. Somebody actually made a comment that men don't build anything. And I was like, well, hold on. Everything that's here today was built by man. What are you talking about? I said, then she made the comment that the infrastructure or America is falling apart. I said, well, the last 50 years, if y'all been the ones raising these kids, if the boys that you're raising can't maintain what the previous generations of men built, then how is that an attack on men? That's on you.
Period. Period. I think that in Dr. Umar talking, he brought up another valid point, that we definitely have to look at the history of the things that our men have been through. Our people in general, as a whole, have been through so many things when it comes to trying to survive in the U.S., trying to survive in the world, period. And I think that we take it for granted. We don't look at all of the trauma that's caused by it. We don't look at the trauma that's caused by the things that affect us day to day. We don't realize how bad they're affecting us. We already come from a culture that believes that it's bad luck to go and seek counseling or get yourself some help. So we definitely not going to put ourselves in a position where we actively admit that there is something wrong in our history that could cause us to potentially have issues today. We admit that the police are wrong when they mistreat African Americans. We'll admit that we think that the majority of them are racist towards us. We'll admit that racism was real and that slavery was real, but we won't admit that some of those things had a bad bearing on how our men act today. And everything has a reaction. All of those things, generation to generation, just like you can pass down heart disease, you can pass down stress and trauma on your life, on your family's life as well. And I think that a lot of these things need to be accounted for when it comes to talking negatively about our men and the things that they've been through.
And even if you want to go back into the history, what were mulattoes doing or bedwenches doing back during slavery? They were telling on all the ones that decided that they didn't want to be a part of it and they were trying to run away. So we're still fighting that same war amongst our own people. So to continue to spew this rhetoric and say, well, what have you done to try to overcome it, when you guys throughout history have also been at the detriment of Black men and have yet to apologize for your involvement in that?
So, not just the mulattoes, because I'm gonna tell you, even the women slaves from back in the day that everybody thinks were so precious and holy, or everybody always says that, it was the men, it was the wonderful men that were out there and they were taking slave women and they were raping them and everything. But a lot of these
hey, great.
Oh, yeah. A lot of these wonderful ladies were taking advantage of the African American men as well. So it wasn't just a one-way street. It went both ways.
But who is taking advantage? Because you know what meritorious manumission was? It's when black people were actually getting paid to tell on other black folks. And who was the main source of that? Mulattoes. So now I don't know if that's Cynthia G or Synthetic G's natural shade, but based on her complexion or whatever shade of foundation she's wearing, she'd have been a house. You know what I'm saying? And she would have been part of the problem back then, just like she's part of the problem today. Because like he said, you haven't provided one solution.
She probably would have thought that type of lifestyle was normal. She was being taken care of as... Yeah, she probably thought that was normal. Sad.
Hey, why are we going all the way back to 1960? There is some truth to history when it comes to evaluating anything or anyone. So what do you say to that?
I say we should go to the historical context.
I love HoneyBook. It handles everything.
But first you said, why are we going back? Now all of a sudden a valid point was brought up. Oh, I think we should look at
what
the
I have not heard
history.
From Dr. Umar Johnson, or I think his name is Duane, is what I have not heard as they're mentioning all of the things that was done to them. I haven't heard what you did in response to it. So I would like to know, what did you do in response in history other than go to the Supreme Court and petition to have access to the men's women that you're complaining and accusing of disenfranchising you? See, because in the 1960s, what Black men were really doing, and it's been documented, many civil rights leaders have admitted to it, what Black men were doing is chasing the white man's woman, trying to so-called stick it to him by way of going to their women. Which you should have been doing is trying to get liberation for yourself. What you should have been trying to do is get that foot off your neck. But see, the foot is not on your neck. And the only time you recognize it being on your neck is when you want to get away with doing something that you think white men are getting away with doing. Because let's just be real. Whenever we hear about this war against Black men, it's usually being brought up when there's a Black man like R. Kelly, Bill Cosby, we see Trey Songz going through it, Ari Spears, when they engage in some degeneracy, and then they're getting a consequence for it. And Black men think that because they perceive white men to be getting...
Who in the hell said war was waged against Black men because of R. Kelly? Who in the hell said war was waged against Black men because of Ari Spears? For anyone who doesn't know the Ari Spears situation, of course, he's been accused of the whole child molestation or trafficking with him and Tiffany Haddish. Every Black man I know thinks he ought to suffer the same punishment I believe that man should. So where is she getting this from, that we all of a sudden want to parade around those type of Black men? Or these are the people that we decide that there's a war against Black men? Where do these names come from?
Those are the ones that are popular right now. Those are the only ones that she could come up with to try to make.
So she couldn't come up with the death of Martin Luther King, but she came up with a Trey Songz. Who the hell gives a damn about a Trey Songz? Trey Songz ain't got nothing to do with the war against Black men.
Yeah, she's trying to put that in the context of those being the men, the Black men that are in trouble right now that we were supposed to be looking up to.
Who looks up to R. Kelly? Yes, he is a great musician, but who was looking up to R. Kelly? Besides the women who were voluntarily going over his house.
That's what I was
looking up to R. Kelly.
I was trying not to say it out loud.
So she want to bring up R. Kelly. I'm the one, because even after the accusations, who was the one standing in line talking about free R. Kelly? Who was the ones talking about, oh, he didn't do anything? Who was the one that kept running over there to his house, skipping school, getting their mamas to drop him off over there? It was Black women. So who praising them?
I'm trying to figure out where she got this point from, that our men was just running around and trying to stick it to the wonderful people by taking over their women.
Especially when it's also documented in history that wonderful women oftentimes were forcing themselves on Black men and basically telling them, if you don't do it, I'm going to tell them that you did anyway, but I'm going to tell them you did it by force.
And you're going down.
So, but she don't want to talk about that piece of history, right?
No. Not at all. Because she was part of the problem.
Getting away with crimes, they want to be able to get away with crimes as well. The reality is,
What about the
Dr.
crimes they get away
Umar can
with?
sit up here and list all the different ways.
What if the crimes women get away with? If a man and a woman commit the same exact crime, a woman's probably going to get a third of the time that a man would get for the same exact crime. So what is she talking about?
None of the men that she mentioned got away with their crimes to begin with, though. R. Kelly doing 30 right now. Okay.
The reason why they believe only men cheat is because a lot of women don't get caught. But every woman I know, every single female that I associate with and got to know on a level well enough to know about some of her personal business has cheated on a man. Every single woman I know. So again, who's she talking about here? How do you point a finger at somebody for doing the same thing that you do?
She might not have had nobody.
That the system is disenfranchising black men and black men in a victim vote. But the reality is what he cannot tell you is what black men did in response to it, because they did nothing. They laid down and they nested under the skirt of their non-black preferences, and only to complain that whenever they commit a crime, they're not getting off like they did.
So let's find out. Dr. Umar, what have black men done?
Well, number one, again, I think that it is such a shame coming from a psychological perspective that we seek to heal our wounds as a people by relying on unprofessional testimony by individuals who have a vendetta against the opposite gender in their community. When you hear Sister Cynthia speak, you can hear a hurt and a pain and a hatred towards black men. We cannot find an effective solution to black male-female relationship issues or the oppression of black men or black women when the people at the table having the conversation have negative emotional and pathological interest in the conversation that are not.
Umar, the question wasn't about my emotional state. The question was, what did black men do in response to their disenfranchisement? Yeah, because you're trying to pathologize my emotional state.
That's not the point. Nobody interrupted her when she was talking. As much as she was defaming men, nobody interrupted her while she was talking. And generally, men don't interrupt people when they're talking.
That's just a lack of respect for men, and you can see it. Like he said, the brother said, you can hear the hurt in her voice. You can hear the anger. You can hear it. You know that she has no respect for black men, so she's not going to have anything positive to say about our beautiful people. Hey, Miss Monet, welcome.
Hey, sisters. I'm sorry I'm coming in late. My internet is down in the house. I am on the phone, and I am struggle streaming as well. But hey, I'm listening, and I'm all in tune. So go ahead, sister.
That's all right. We appreciate you showing up. Thank everybody for coming out and joining us today. Definitely make sure that you like, share, and subscribe to our channel. I am going to post a link because today is an open discussion. So if anybody wants to come in and join in on the conversation, you're definitely welcome to jump in. You can click the link. I'm going to post it into the chat. I think. I don't know.
She said, I think.
I'm going to try to post it.
But yes, I'm on. Let me add. Can I add like 2 cents, my little 2 pennies into this? Because I did hear a little homegirl. She is hurt. She's very hurt.
No.
I so agreed. I was like, dang, you can hear it in her voice.
I don't know if that's it.
That ain't
She's upset.
No, I don't think that's no.
It's me. I clicked the whole
That's
thing.
not it?
Nah, that's not it. Wait a minute. I gotta
I got it. Go ahead. I'll put it in there.
Well, clicker.
Well, let me go on back over here to the video while Miss D help us figure out how to load it up. Y'all, please disregard Melanated last message when it comes to the
Please excuse the struggle stream.
Struggle Stream Queen accidentally misposted the link. I don't think it didn't post all of it together in one thing. So because I posted it from one spot to another, it's acting up. So we gotta just go and get it from the source and post it up. But in the meanwhile, we can watch some more of this video.
That I'm a psychologist too. But what you're not doing is telling us what black men did.
I believe he'll get there, Dr.
May I
Umar.
finish?
Dr. Umar.
And I'll end it quickly, Sister Tammy. According to Mrs. Cynthia G., Dr. King was assassinated because he was doing nothing. Malcolm X was assassinated because he was doing nothing. Medgar Evers was assassinated because he was doing nothing. Fred Hampton was assassinated because he was doing nothing. That narrative that black men have done nothing to fight back against systemic oppression, not only against ourselves, but against our women, our children, our elders, and our community is absolutely ridiculous. The cemetery is filled with black men, names we know and names we don't know, who gave their life for the freedom, liberation, and emancipation of African people. How can you disrespect the history of so many black men, past and present, who continue to fight? I'm sitting in a school right now that we built with all black money, 4 buildings that we're going to educate black men in. It's not easy to solve our problems because there's always black people in your very same community who's fighting against what you're trying to do to help it. But in addition to that, the white power structure is always waving its wand of oppression to try to sabotage anything we do. I think that the analysis of our women is too overly simplistic, and in being such, it is dishonest.
They've done so much. You've only listed names and not accomplishments, though.
What did you say? Okay, when it comes down to it, what if black men?
She said you're mentioning something, not names. I'm trying to
basically told him that he was only mentioning names of people and he wasn't mentioning the accomplishments of those people whose names he had listed.
She just sounds like a young lady that don't like people of color, period.
Sound like a bitter black bitch.
Right. Yes, absolutely. Like she sounds very just about people of color in general.
She sound like every dude she ever slept with came before she did.
Oh, you stupid.
Bitter as fuck.
They ain't doing right. Black man ain't doing right.
No, well, go ahead. My bad.
It's sad. She's sad. Hold on, let me go back to this video.
Men done since the 60s. We've turned around and we're still inventing things. We still open up businesses. Here in LA, you got black businesses all around town. So when black men do build things and we build things on individual basis, you're not going to see an NBC special about what the great black man built. When Irv Gotti, Suge Knight, and J. Prince tried to put together a distribution, they all got charges the next week. So it's not like we don't build things. When we do build things, something always ends up seeming to happening. And in spite of that, you've seen the most black business male ownership that's gone up in the last 60 years since the coronavirus. We still doing it. I personally got 3 businesses, so I don't know what you're talking about. I employ young black men. I've helped thousands of black children here in South Central LA. So all this black men ain't doing nothing. Where are you kicking it at?
So how are black men creating all these businesses and still costing the government $50 billion a year?
Hold that thought. I want to get Hope in
ignored.
here real quick, Dr. Umar. I want to get Hope in here because Dr. Umar listed a plethora of black men that we know, and I'm assuming he listed the ones that we know so that we can identify and all agree that these black men have done something in terms of the fight for equality in America. How do you feel about those men that he listed, Hope? Have they done anything for the black community or not?
Most definitely. I would be ignorant to say that they haven't, right? But I think that what we're failing to realize is that when we have this conversation about what black men have done, the consequences are usually because of white supremacy and
they get you in the door with a free weekend trip or dinner or something.
So another thing, recent whatever that black men have done. Do y'all remember? And I forgot where it was at. Do you remember the story? But it was a school where they were having all these crazy fights all the time. All the kids kept breaking out in fights. So all the dads decided to get together and start this little group where they actually went down to the school. They monitored the hallways. They talked to the boys. All of that. They were engaged. So even now, men do things to better the community.
Dad's
So
on
what is she
duty.
talking about it?
Dad's on duty. That's what it was. Dad's on duty. They was there clapping the kids in.
That's what it was. Dad's on duty. You right.
Walk in the hall. So hey, pull up your pants. I mean, we do that. That's everywhere. Like like he said, where is you hanging at? Who you with? Because you must be around the wrong folks and the wrong type of folks for you not to be able to see it or acknowledge it, that it is growing.
Right.
Without it always being chopped off. Because remember, like you said, we do have white supremacy. We do have multiple haters out here. So every time we do 5 feet, 5 steps, somebody always want to yank us back 3, 4 more. So, you know what I'm saying? It's always going to be a yo-yo effect to the BS that we deal with as melanated people versus the melanated anemic people.
Yeah, I just don't know why they kept asking Hope he's a man for their input. I promise you I don't understand.
But she a little slow.
I mean, Hope he's a she. I don't know why they invited him to speak.
Is that his name? Hope he's a she?
His name is Hope. His name is supposed to be Hope Gazelle. I call him Hope he's a she.
Because this man's last name. I'm not about to play with you tonight, D.
Right. I'm like, wait a minute.
I'm not about to play with him.
Yeah, because my thing is, what's the purpose? Okay, go ahead.
Hold on. You looking at this picture, right?
Yeah.
Hope he's a she.
Yeah, I see it in the face, but listen. Go ahead, push the button.
Everybody saw it in the face with Umar Johnson. Why he talking about these ladies?
How?
Right.
I'm just mad because at this point you're asking. She's asking Hashem how it feels to be a man, or what another man could have done. Like this person right here she didn't spend her whole life. Or
who are you calling a she?
Sorry. She said Shem.
Oh, okay.
Hope she. I'm not sure what he wants to be identified as, so I'm just saying Shem has spent their whole life trying to be a lady.
Exactly.
So it's like, how can you ask this person who hasn't had to go through all of these things because they spent their life trying to be somebody else questions about what it feels like to be a man if you never were in that
situation? You ain't mastered being one.
Hey, hello, you questioned yourself as one, but as long as you do not question, I think the idea of maybe having Shimon is the fact that it is melanated. So maybe that could be something of importance. But my thing is, you got to recognize self-hatred is very hard. You know what I'm saying? You self-hate.
I just don't feel like somebody who has evaded their male identity gets to speak on the problems of Black men, or that there's the war waged against them. And from whatever perspective, because one, like I said, you didn't master being a man, and two, you ain't me. You are not one of us.
No, you are not. Now you can portray to be, but you are not. You do not.
You can identify as all you want, but you don't get to complain about the problems of Black men the way I get to complain about the problems of Black men.
No, you cannot. You can't even listen. You can't even complain about the problems of a Black woman.
Thank you.
Okay. The problems of a Black woman is for real. Okay, we for real out here, body parts and all. What? Ow. So you can't know. Listen, stay in your lane, but it ain't this one or that one. So I don't know. But go ahead. My bad.
Just get off the whole road. just get off the pavement.
Right.
I definitely made Shem a man. Okay.
Stay on the sidewalk.
You a man, Damon.
Right. But to each his own. But I do see it says author and activist down there. But go ahead. it it ain't claiming nothing but author and activist.
Taken away, and the Black women have to then sustain those things. Dr. Umar, you're right. I don't agree with a lot of the stuff that you said, but you're absolutely right. It's not about the idea of who's doing it better or trying to the pissing match of the oppression that lives amongst Black people, but it's really about working together. The problem is, what I find in working together is that the Black man wants to lead, whether he's acquired the gumption and the knowledge to be able to do so appropriately and effectively or not. The thing about it is, when you're working together, we are a team.
I can't even pause it, girl. I couldn't even pause it.
Wait a minute.
What gumption
is supposed to lead?
But what gumption do women have to leave? Where it come from? Matter of fact, I asked this woman, she was talking about, what's her name? Cynthia G is a warrior. I said, okay, but when ammo start flying over your head, what war are you running to? Men or Cynthia G? She gonna say, well, women need to learn how to fight for themselves. That's not what I asked you. If ammo start flying over your head today, what war are you running to? Because Cynthia G can't. Well, you know what? I take that back. That helmet here. You might be right. You might be right. She got that helmet here. You might be able to avoid a lot of damage.
Listen, I'm going to him immediately. I'm running behind him immediately. Babe,
right. And the only reason why women feel the need that they have to learn to defend themselves is because you pushed the man out of the house. Exactly. You would still need to learn how to defend yourself if you wasn't against family structure.
Singlehood. I'm independent. INDEPENDENT.
But catching everybody else's resources. No. You got welfare, you got child support, you got the new man buying your dinner and buying all your weaves, you turning your EBT into Cash App, so everybody's supporting your lifestyle but you.
Say that.
Hope he's the sheep. I don't know why they were invited to the conversation. I'm with Savannah. Transformers should only speak on behalf of Transformers. You can't speak for men or women. You definitely don't speak for us.
Say it. Period. You can only speak on what you know. You cannot speak on things that you do not know. That's why it's hard for somebody to be led by something that you know what I'm saying?
Whether they were trained to lead the right way or not, men are leaders. They're born to be leaders.
They're natural leaders.
Period.
And hold on. So for the woman who said women have to learn to defend themselves, if y'all been having single ran households for 50 years, it's been 50 years, you didn't learn how to defend yourself yet. What the hell are you waiting on? But y'all supposed to be the leaders, right? Okay. Okay. It's been 50 years. Y'all ain't learned how to defend yourselves yet.
Y'all melanated people better stick together. Go ahead, Shim.
Them independent heifers better go on and lead me to my man's house because I don't got time for that other bull.
Listen, you independent women need to stand close for yourselves. Y'all need to be humble, learn themselves about yourselves, and you know what I'm saying? Reach back and figure out where you went wrong. Forget where mama went wrong and where grandma went wrong. Figure out where you going wrong in the situation.
Oh no, they definitely ain't pointing the finger inward.
That's what I'm saying. I need y'all to start pointing it inward so you can start fixing you. So then you can start finding the best thing out there for you.
No, they looking to point that finger out at the beautiful man.
Pimp down, pimping the stress. Wait a minute. That was
I swear I'm gonna get that clip of you. I swear.
Shut up.
I figure out how to voice over.
Don't worry about it. I got it.
Shut up. Well, my phone just did the same thing, didn't it?
Hey, I'm gonna have a dog barking like woof woof. Oh my God.
No, not the dog. Hey, don't tell nobody about that. Hush, they don't even know where to go find it at, y'all. Dang.
That was the best clip out of a video right there.
You was not on my side.
Listen.
Play Shim.
I'm going back to the video.
I ain't trying to be bothered with you talking stuff about me.
You get to lead this person because you're better at it. I get to lead that person because I'm better at it. And then we come to a common ground for both of us to succeed. But a lot of the times when we're talking about these succession plans and we're making all of these advocacy movements in order to progress the Black family, the Black man says, listen to me or fail. Right? As if Black women have nothing to contribute to that. And I think that that's where the problem is. That's where the discourse needs to happen is how do we work together so that Black men
How does Hope He's the She advocate for Black family?
I don't know how you even say that all black men want to lead. There's a lot of black men that take the back seat and the passenger seat in a heartbeat. So
hold on. But this somebody who done went to the reproductive surgery or whatever change. They didn't have the whole sex change operation thing going on. So
you still can't have kids.
That's what I'm saying. So I'm trying to figure out how anybody in your predicament can be sitting here talking about you advocate for black families. You are the absolute in opposition of black family.
You are the total opposite of a black family. You totally got everything. You not even passing on a legacy, baby. You're not passing on anything.
That part.
You just left it with you. And so when you talk about black families and you talk about families, you have to talk about and having kids and your kids having kids and the kids having kids and kids. You're not doing anything at all. So stay in your lane. But nonetheless, yes, nonetheless,
you can't even perpetuate black families. So what the hell are you advocating for?
Right. Nonetheless, there's a lot of men that lead. There's a lot of men that know how to lead. There's a lot of men that don't mind being as well passengers as their wife lead. It's all different as long as the man and the woman is working together, common goal, common, it's fine. But you as speaking on each side, either side, man or woman, as a melanated person, I just stick to what you do and what we do for you. Okay? What we do for you.
Next week she'll be on here talking about what it's like to do childbirth and raise a family.
See, that's what I'm gonna need. That's what I'm gonna need him. Her
medication that we should take during labor.
And just to be clear, just because somebody surgically implants a womb inside of you, just because they allow this womb to grow inside of you, and then you go through that whole cesarean where they're not cutting out a baby, they're actually cutting out the entire womb because, baby, you are an incubator. That's it.
Absolutely, but why would you jeopardize your body to do that?
That's it. You a walking, talking incubator. That is it.
But why would it do that to its body? It can. That'll be very dangerous.
That's this whole idea that's why they talking about birthing persons and all this other nonsense, because that's what they're gonna start doing next. These individuals gonna be sitting here talking about childbirth. Baby, you are in a walking, talking incubator.
You can never deal with childbirth. Never. Nothing comes out of you. You ain't listen, stay in your lane if you ain't never heard somebody say that before.
Right. Because Hope he's a she can never get pregnant and cannot naturally deliver a child.
And never really feel them Hicks. You never feel a Braxton Hicks and you ain't never felt the real contraction. So I'm gonna need you to stay on the sideline for real, because baby, you don't even have a monthly thing that comes knocking at your door. You know what I'm saying? You don't even have none of them. So just stay in your lane and only speak about those things that you know of. That's another thing. Just stick to what you know.
But what do you really know in that situation, though? That's the part, because you didn't stick to the script of what you were.
Right.
You spent all this time over here on the other side of the fence trying to find out who you could be. Okay. Mm-hmm. The rest of the time you're gonna spend in your life, you're gonna spend defending who you are now.
Mm-hmm.
Just confused. So Shim better go sit down.
Please. And that little angry mad woman need to go sit down too.
Yeah, she need to go get some head, or somebody needs to take her and treat her right.
She needs some counseling first, because homegirl need to check that mouth and check that tongue, because what ain't nobody going to deal with is that right there, boo-boo.
If she get the right one, he'll smack her with it.
I'm not with y'all.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
But go ahead, hit it up.
All right.
And understand that we are meant to work side by side, and not with me following you with my head down and saying, yes, that's our master. Because that is me being subservient to you in a way that I might not want to do.
Every time they run down the welfare office, that's what they say.
The wherewithal, or the lived experiences to lead me in a way that I might be better suited to do in this point of our journey. And
Dr. Umar.
Well, first of all, I do not endorse
Wait.
Every time you run down to welfare assistance services, you saying yes, massa, every single time.
You telling the master what's going on in your household.
For real.
You telling them the 411 and everything.
Too much. That's what's going on. Too much, because all of that extra information that you got to give out in order to be able to get that little bit of $212 a month
to make your child a ward of the state.
To lose the child support that you done threw your baby daddy in jail for, made him lose his license, and now got him on the radar for felonies.
So that everybody make more money than you off your child. But that's another thing women don't understand when they run down there for them little crumbs y'all getting. Y'all get it. Some of y'all might be getting $800 a month in food stamps. But what everybody else is collecting on behalf of that child, they're giving you crumbs. And you selling your community down the drain for the crumbs that they want to shovel out. Because again, if this is a $50 billion a year industry, how are 70% of the welfare recipients living below the poverty line? How is that possible? But y'all keep running down the family services, but you don't want to talk about your involvement in this. You don't want to talk about what you've done that have caused the demise of the Black community. You don't want to talk about how you've contributed to that. You don't want to talk about none of that. We don't want to talk about anything accountable. Women don't want to talk about the part that they played from slavery till today.
Right.
My whole thing is, I just want when it comes to relationship, it is a lot of in regards to compromising and understanding and communicating. But I'm totally not in agreement with what Hope said in regards of a man not knowing how to lead and not knowing. I mean, I understand for him, he may not know how to lead. I probably believe that he don't know how to do his role. He don't know what a man is supposed to do. He can't do it. I got it. But there is a lot of Black men that know how to lead, know their role, know their heart, know their faith, know themselves, that can lead. If and I'm not knocking us strong Black women and being strong. Yes, we can be strong, but we also have to understand sometimes keeping our mouths closed or compromising, as in just keeping our mouth closed to the compromising of everything. We ain't always got to have to say last word. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm talking about, because sometimes we want to say last word.
But you know what, DC, that's a problem. They took the word strong and turned it into something that decided we no longer needed men. Because just because you're strong doesn't mean that we don't support a family structure. I guarantee you that MLK's wife was a strong woman too. You had to be strong to be married to him. So being strong has nothing to do with you deciding that we don't need a family structure anymore, that we don't need men anymore. And so women have taken this rhetoric and they built a little community around themselves. But I promise you, when the ammo starts flying over their heads, I want to know what warrior they run into, because the only thing Synthetic G got is that hair helmet that can protect you. That's the only thing she got.
I don't even care about Synthetic G. I'm gonna need her to just get some warrior skills and learn her role. She don't even know her role. So as a Black woman.
Right. So women today talking about we got to learn how to defend ourselves. If y'all been running single households for 50 years and you haven't learned how to defend yourselves yet, then who are the real leaders in the community? Because the damn show ain't you. If for 50 years you've been running your own household and for 50 years you haven't learned how to defend yourself, then for 50 years your household has been unprotected.
But I'm just thinking, I mean, I feel what you're saying, but even as a single Black woman, guess what? I was still even as a single independent Black woman, I was still protected by Black men. They still had my back like 4 flats on a Cadillac. That's just the respect that Black men had. You know what I'm saying? If you respect yourself and you respect them, they're going to respect you. They're going to have your back. They ain't got to be belonging to you. They ain't not near one of them got to have you, have sex with you. Ain't none of them got to do nothing with you. They still going to have your back like 4 flats on a Cadillac, because guess what? They respect you. They have love for you. It might be something that they see as a sister, mother figure, hell, a wife figure, future wife figure. They don't know. They just infatuated with the Black woman and the respect that we have for ourselves, if you have it for yourselves, and they're going to have your back. So I ain't never had to be a single independent woman and had to fight or had to protect myself or had to defend myself, because guess what? There was ones that never belonged to me, never knew my name, and still rode for me. Boom. Was in there like, oh, nah, we ain't doing that. Or, you know what I'm saying? Whatever. You need something? What's up? You want me to pump your gas? They're out there. They out there. So she just both of them. He, she, and because can't speak for any type of side of the family. And Glasses, yeah.
I'm gonna tell you, Cynthia G's boyfriend left her for her cousin Faith.
Because she was being what? Faithful.
Nah.
Hey, but you know what? That's the thing, though. They go around picking the worst of men and then complain about men.
That part. She's just bitter. Okay. That is it. That is all. She's like, all these men are complaining.
No, all the ones you've been with gotta complain, boo.
And got a baby daddy.
I mean, not okay.
So you're so strong and empowered. Why? But you got a baby daddy.
Why you didn't make that baby on your own? Why you didn't stick it to yourself?
If she's such a role model, why that man ain't wife her?
Right. What happened to that?
She looking
that's
like
what
a man.
You really want to say? Why he ain't wife you, boo boo?
He said that's
something about you.
He said her gum line strong as his. He ain't doing that.
Shut up. Hit the play. Hit the play.
I know that chin strong because she look like she could take a couple right hooks.
Hit the play. Hit the play. Hit the play. Hit the play.
Endorse any kind of a second-class citizenship role for Black women. I believe Black women have as much to offer as do Black men, so I'm not sure who the Queen is referring to, because I am not a misogynist and I do not support that type of narrative that said the Black woman's position is only to have children and to prepare food. But at the same time, I think Black women have to look at themselves, because although white supremacy has been the greatest enemy of the progress of Black men, you would also have to argue that Black women have probably been the greatest accomplice to supporting the white power structure in their destruction of Black males, i.e. the conversation we're having right now, where two intelligent Black women have yet to indict white supremacy for the role that they play in the destabilization of the lives of Black men.
Is white supremacy responsible?
They didn't, not neither one, and they should know. That was the first thing they should have said. White supremacy run rampant. It's been running rampant. Hell, it just stopped in 1960 something, right? We just ended, pretty much we ended slavery and segregation and all that. Just pretty much ended in 1960. What? So with that being said, look, that's what's wrong with them heifers. Them wish it was a heifer and heifer.
I'm just over here thinking, as women, whether you feel like you're independent or not, as nurturers, as women, mothers of the earth, women who are supposed to be supportive and protect our men, why is it that when we have men who have been mistreated by the world or hurt by the world, instead of helping to lift them up, why is it that we are on here on shows like this tearing them down? Like, what is it?
She talked about, oh, I hear the complaints, but I haven't heard about what you've done. But I haven't heard a solution come out of your mouth yet. Not one.
And that's what he said to her. He said, like, you're not offering solutions either. But as women, we got to do better about building up our men, because there's a lot of men who are good men, good average men, but they're great men once they have somebody that supports them in the right way. So,
amen. Say that.
Better about being more supportive when it comes to our men ourselves too.
Yes, ma'am. I agree.
Responsible for any of the Black man's plight at all?
Absolutely, it exists. And Black men have worked in tandem with white supremacy since they've come in contact with it. And this is why I say in the Black community, we have very disingenuous, very dishonest discussions, especially when it's regarding Black men.
The one we're having right now.
Black male worshiping culture. So what we do within that culture, and Umar Johnson is showing it today, is absolve Black men from any accountability for what they've done. Number one, we wouldn't be in a system of white supremacy had it not been for Black men. So if you want to go all the way back to history.
How you can't talk about history if you don't know your history. And I can tell you now, you don't know your damn history to be talking about no damn girl. You better watch your mouth.
I didn't know her to pull the stats. That's all I was this entire
Go ahead,
video. I was waiting on her to either pull a stat, report a stat, tell a stat, share a stat. I ain't heard no stat from her yet. All I heard is complaints and bitterness and no solutions.
Let me hit the button.
She made you mad real quick, didn't she? I was watching the video like, oh, that's some bull. Let me scroll down.
She pissed me off. Like, bitch, you ain't been through no Sankofa. I can tell you ain't been through no Sankofa. You ain't did no history. You don't know nothing. I can tell you don't. You, girl, bye. Come hit the button. I'm sorry, hit the button for her.
She didn't even know the history of that hair helmet she got on.
That girl straight there. Running around in that horse's hair. Had a nerve to that Asian infusion hair, that Asian hair stuff. You ain't not that ain't yours.
She could at least did them edges. Okay.
No, hit the button. Hit the button.
Then let's go back to history when Black men were selling their own people into white supremacy. Let's go back into history when 60 years off the plantation, Black men were worried about a war being waged on them. They were worried about getting access to white women. That's what you were worried about. And it's interesting. There's a reason why I feel like Umar focused mostly on me and Hope's attitudes, and it's because he can't accurately answer the question. He mentioned names, not accomplishments. And the reason being is because
I think he mentioned those names specifically because those are
the common names you can recognize.
Right, but those accomplishments are also accomplishments that I've heard Umar Johnson speak negatively about, specifically the civil rights movement and how damaging it was to Black people. But now he wants to sit here and say the very people who accomplished that were accomplishing something beneficial when, in his own opinion, that wasn't beneficial and did.
Hey, my name is Brian Page, and I teach people how to make money with Airbnb without actually having to own any.
Did more harm to the community than good. So I think that because we're
at what point in time are those women going to understand that they've done more harm to the community than good? Because for the last 50 years, if you've been raising our children and we see the result, what good have they done to the community? And you want to tell me the future leaders that we're bringing up don't do more harm to the community than the adult men that they're talking about?
Again, I don't know why she's talking. She don't know history.
For 50 years, they've been raising nothing but statistics. For 50 years, they've been raising criminals, drug addicts, girls who go through repeat those cycles of premature pregnancies or early pregnancies, teen pregnancies, crackheads. That's what they're producing. That is exactly what they are producing. They have produced absolutely nothing in the community. The only thing they take credit for is when they have a son who just happens to get drafted into the NFL or the NBA. That's it. But community-wise, they have produced nothing but statistics.
Oh my goodness.
So
go ahead, Rob.
I was just getting ready to say we have a guest that decided that they were going to join us on the show. Before I add the guest, I want to thank everybody that came in to join us for the show today. Definitely make sure that y'all like, share, and subscribe to the channel. If y'all want to support us, you can do so via Cash App at Melanated and Candid. Thank you, World Class, for posting up everybody's links for their shows. Definitely make sure you check out some of the other shows on here. We have a lot of people that come in and watch the show that have shows themselves. So definitely we want to always make sure we're showing support to our other channels. So feel free to go in and visit another channel of your choice. Like, share, and subscribe that one as well. All right, Mr. Pirate Brain. I'm going to go ahead and bring him on.
Hello, can you hear me?
Hey.
Hey, how you doing, ladies?
Pretty good. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine, thank you. I was
Welcome
watching
to the show.
Huh?
Welcome to the show.
Thank you for letting me come on. I was watching your show and I happened to catch this on Fox Soul, which I never watch. It just was a coincidence. I was flipping through the channels. And it just disgusts me. I don't know why Umar Johnson couldn't see that was a man. And not that I'm blaming him, but you know, they were very disingenuous, and Cynthia was purposely being disingenuous because I think the Hope character is just mentally ill, but Cynthia knows what she's doing. She went off and dated this other YouTuber named Rob. I forget his last name now. And she knew that he had 4 other babies' mamas.
Mhm.
She knew. And she got a plane, went up to see him, and slept with him and got pregnant by him. And it's not that I have a problem with that because, you know, she's a grown woman. She do what she want. But to be a hypocrite, that's a whole nother thing. I have a problem with that because that means by you sleeping with this man, you don't even believe your own rhetoric. And to say that we entered in slavery and everything, she's being disingenuous because think about it. They got a movie out right now talking about the Dahomey tribe that sold us into slavery, and that the Dahomeys were all females.
Right. And they celebrating that movie.
Right. They celebrating it on one hand, but on the other hand, she's saying that we were responsible for us being into slavery. And it's crazy. And while we're in slavery, there was a lot of women that slept with them, they volunteered to sleep with the master. It wasn't just so much that all of them, a lot were forced, but a lot did it because they wanted some extra butter biscuits, so to speak.
Exactly.
You know, and she knows this. I think every Black woman in this country knows it unless you're completely ignorant. And Cynthia G is not an ignorant woman. There's a lot of things there's a lot of things I could say about her, but I will not say she's stupid or ignorant. She's smart. She knows exactly what she's doing. And she's really going against, she's the right hand of white supremacy. Because she started out talking against white supremacy. And when she saw she wasn't making any money at it, she switched it up and started talking about Black men.
Yep, I heard about that. But you know what? I can almost kind of sort of see why. Well, I can't see it, but Umar not knowing that Hope He's or she was a man look at Cynthia G right now. She doesn't look too feminine. Her chin is broad. She's wearing the hair helmet, and you got to think about it. So he looks like all those women look. They're wearing 5 pounds of makeup on. They got lashes galore, and they go overboard to try to. I don't know what the drag queen look is, but men, biological men who are going through that transformer stage, they look just like the women like Cynthia G. They putting on the same kind of makeup as Cynthia G is. So I can see why he would think that they were both women, because that's what today's modern woman looks like.
Yeah, why he would think that. I mean, Hope was actually very good at disguising himself as a woman.
Yeah, they both look like drag queens.
Yeah, and what really bothered me about that was the way that Hope was talking like, and the men this and the men that. Well, look, you gave up on being a man. At least we still in the fight.
Right. Right.
You know, Hope surrendered.
Yes. I'm not about to argue with nobody who traded one body part for another.
Exactly. Okay. And you know, with this whole transgender thing, a lot of women, and this is not a bashing thing, but a lot of women co-sign this transgender thing. I don't know if you remember. Did you ever see this TV show called Big Brother used to come on?
I heard of it. I never saw it though.
Yeah, Genuine was on there one day, and there was this white transvestite on there and he was trying to give Genuine a kiss, and all of
I
the
remember that. I saw that.
Oh, okay. And look, if that was the other way around, and it was a male trying to give a woman a kiss, and she didn't want the kiss, it would have been called sexual assault.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I agree.
And then after that segment, Genuine's career went down for a while. And this is the kind of things that they got going against Black men, and there's nothing we can really do about it. You know, how do you fight that? You know, it's hard to fight that because you know, if you try to go against it, then they were saying, "Oh, you're homophobic,
misogynistic, all of that."
Yeah, you're misogynistic, you're homophobic, and it's really no way to really fight that except for take yourself out of the situation and just avoid it.
Right. It's hate speech. It's everything.
It's everything, and no one's really talking about that because in essence, it takes women to take up for men in those situations. We can protect women in the physical fight, right? We you know, if a guy's coming up on you on the street, we can protect you and fight for you. But we can't fight that psychological fight when women are fighting against us. We can't fight it because we'll look like we're bullying, we'll look like, you know, it's a whole bunch of things that come with that, you know. And so really we have to take up for each other.
Like what Big Mike said, isolate and ostracize.
Yeah.
And it's sad, but that's about all you can do. But that kind of ideology cannot continue. Whatever happens as a result of this issue between men and women, black men and black women, that ideology cannot move forward under no circumstances.
Well, that's kind of why I wanted to come on here and kind of say this to you, because I think enough is enough. You know, we both have to realize that, hey, you know what? We're not going to get anywhere hating on each other. It's just not going to work, you know. And if we're not going to love each other, you know, then we're pretty much done.
And Synthetic G is done.
Yeah.
She's definitely done.
Yeah. So I just, you know, I watch your show in silence. This is the first time I've said something. I said a few things in the chat, but I just watch it, and you know, and I'll give you a thumbs up on the. I hit the like button, and just want to let you know that I'm seeing you.
Well, thank you. We appreciate that. We appreciate you coming on and sharing some words with us and entertaining our conversation for sure. We always like to get different perspectives about the topics that we're discussing. Plus, like I said, we're here for y'all. So yeah, we appreciate it when you come on here.
Yeah, and get those likes up. Thank you, Mr. Pirate Brain.
Oh, okay. Yeah, thanks a lot. Let me let you know I do house music, so you can get some of my music on your on my page if you want to.
Gotcha.
Oh snap! I love some music.
Yeah, if you need any music, like an introduction for your show, just let me know.
That's what's up, Mr. Pirate Brain.
Nice.
You take care of yourself.
Yeah, reach out to us at melanatedandcandid@gmail.com. melanatedandcandid@gmail.com.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Pirate Brain.
All right. Bye.
For sure. Thank you.
Hey, family. I see y'all in the chat line. How y'all doing?
Yes, it is embarrassing on all sides. It really is. We're going to get back to it. I'm going to hit this video.
We're having such a dishonest discussion where Black men don't want to take accountability for what they've done. They want to be the victims of society, but then they want submission from the women. The bottom line is I'm not willing to deflect from the fact that number one, Black men are the greatest non-white contributors to white supremacy. Let's just be real. White supremacy couldn't even exist without Black men's compliance. They're always uplifting whiteness, biracial children, and trying to assimilate. And that's why I went back to the notion of the only time Black men truly feel like there's a war against them is when they feel like they're being punished for something white men do. At the end of the day, y'all dropped the ball. You're blaming white supremacy on your failures. We already know there's oppression, but Black women are double oppressed. We have more barriers to face. You have male privilege in a patriarchal system and you can't even get it right.
You get to say Black men are oppressed, but you get to say that there are no issues with Black men. The only war being waged against them is the war against themselves. So which one is it? Either they're oppressed or they're not. But then you get to say, but the only reason why you want to rest on the fact that Black men are oppressed is because you want to get up here and double down on your victimhood and say, oh, but Black women are double oppressed. But you're talking about men playing victim on the panel, and you talk about Black women are double oppressed. How are Black women double oppressed when Synthetic G can get on the platform, talk about deleting all Black male babies, and nobody shuts her down? So what is she talking about?
Getting rid of all our men. If I didn't think no better, I would think that she was playing for the other team.
She is playing for the other team.
She is. She ain't on our side. That hoe on the wrong side. I mean, that chick on the wrong side.
That makes a lot of sense.
But what accountability has she taken? Y'all don't even want to take accountability for the statistics you raising. You keep wanting to blame men for not being there, the same men that you put out for a check, for $200 in food stamps and a voucher. Y'all haven't taken accountability yet. So when are women going to take accountability for what they've done to the community?
They don't. And she definitely isn't. She's not one of those. If she study on here screaming that Black men haven't been oppressed, or Black men have been oppressed, but Black men haven't been through anything, they don't have a reason for the things.
But there's no war against Black men, but they're oppressed. So what?
Like,
but you only say that so you can say, but Black women are double oppressed. How? How, when you get in the house and you get in the transfers of wealth and the divorce, you get the house and you get where's the double oppression coming from? Where's the double oppression when the current POC VP that we have, her only credentials were being Black and being a woman? What about the Biden administration selecting Ketanji Brown as a Supreme Court justice when her credentials were Black woman? So what double oppression is she referring to?
You can't throw those women out there because those women are only being thrown out there because, what did she say about the Black men? I couldn't get that line straight real quick.
I can't stand you. I knew you was going to be childish. I was going to say the same thing, but I ain't say nothing.
I was over here like, wait, because they only throw those names out there when they want to try to look it up and say that Black women have been chosen or something. I don't know.
And then acting like Black men don't do nothing. Black men built railroads, and that hair hat that she got on wouldn't be here had it not been for the railroad system. Girl, so you can talk about what Black men don't do all day long. But that hair helmet wouldn't be here if it wasn't for them railroads.
She said, she got that with her baby daddy child support.
And that's another thing. All the money that the Black female community has spent in the hair industry, and y'all don't own it by now, but you want to talk about what the Black men ain't doing. You want to talk about how Black men haven't solved their problems. But you keep running yourself, you keep running your crazy, but now the Sally Woo's nail salon just to get beat up inside their shop because you want to pay with an EBT card.
Wait.
But you talking about what Black men are doing in the community or what they're not doing to solve their problems? Girl, bye.
You're supposed to take the EBT card for my nails.
Listen, That was the dumbest video I see. That was the dumbest video. Okay.
I'm trying to get my nails done, sir, with my EBT cord.
You know,
no, definitely check that one out. 'Cause
kind of generational wealth the Black community will have right now if Black women invested every dollar in the hair industry instead of spending it on the hair industry. Do you know what your children would look like right now? Do you know what your future grandchildren's lifestyle would look like if you invested the money you spent in the hair industry as opposed to wearing it on your head? But we want to talk about what the Black men ain't doing to better their situation. Okay.
Listen, wait a minute, y'all. So we got another guest to join the show. Big Mike.
Oh, not Big Mike.
Thank you for coming on and joining the show. Give me a second. I'm gonna let you up in here.
Hey, what's up? How y'all doing?
What's up, Big Mike? Salute to you,
up?
sir.
Salute to you, ma'am. How's everybody doing tonight?
What up, big bro?
Good.
Yeah, man, I'm just cooling, man. Listening to this madness that this woman is talking about on this video. This is horrible.
She is horrible.
She's horrible. She sounds like an animal, like a Nazi or something. That shit is crazy. Excuse my French. That's insane.
It is.
It's really.
I mean, how can you even argue with that? Like, there's like my grandmother used to tell me, I wouldn't even dignify that with a response. It's horrible.
Right.
Like, you can't even go back and forth with somebody like that.
I know that.
Yeah, she is worse.
God.
Yeah, appreciate you joining. That's the real history teacher for those who don't know.
Oh, hey, man, I just be trying. I try.
All right, let's go, Rob.
1 second, y'all.
Stomach the rest of this nonsense.
Well, Dr. Umar, I think we all know your stance on interracial marriages.
Absolutely, but let me also
so please acknowledge what the rest of what Cynthia G has said.
Absolutely. I'm not sure where Sister Cynthia took history class, but if you know anything about the transatlantic slave trade, the transatlantic slave trade was a European enterprise. It was not an African
sub-Saharan.
I'm
talking about the sub-Saharan slave trade. You should go look into it.
Excuse me.
You addressed me.
May I finish?
Go look into the sub-Saharan slave trade where Black men were trading their women and children for alcohol and tobacco.
Monologue. May I finish?
Go ahead, Dr. Umar.
Interrupting that man.
The transatlantic slave trade was a European enterprise. It was not an African enterprise. Although there were some chiefs who participated in it, by no means did they control the direction and extension of the transatlantic slave trade. So that's number one. Number two, Black men resisted enslavement, not only on the shores of Africa, but right here in America. We celebrate Nat Turner, Denmark Vesey, Gabriel Prosser. There's literally hundreds of documented attempts by African men to liberate not only themselves, but their women and their children. So to act like we just sat there and we're complicit in our own oppression is absolutely ridiculous. The other point I want to clarify for your information, Cynthia G, you've never, ever heard me condemn the civil rights movement. The good Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. is a hero of mine. And despite me being a Pan-African nationalist, I take issue with other Black nationalists who do want to dismiss Dr. King's accomplishment. The civil rights movement was necessary because it removed a psychological scar that suggested of racial inferiority. So you've never heard me deride the civil rights movement. I support it, although I took certain issues with it. The bottom line is when Black women, Black girls, Black boys listen to this conversation we're having today, they're going to be confused because they hear two brothers speaking of a greater context to the problems that affect Black men, and you hear two Black women who want to keep scapegoating Black men while ignoring the historical and contemporary systemic challenges.
They
One
get
Black
you in
woman
the
and a
door with
shim.
a free weekend trip or dinner or sometimes just a Visa gift card.
That are constantly placed in our way. I'm going to say this and be quiet, Sister Tammy. I got to give you this. There was a recent piece of research, Tammy, that came out. And the research said a Black man with a master's degree, they did a study. They had white males who had come out of prison apply for jobs. They had Black men with master's degrees, Sister Tammy, apply for the jobs. And guess what? the white males with prison history and no education were called back more than 75% of the time than black men with no prison history and a master's degree.
I'm aware of
How
that.
you gonna ignore white
I am
supremacy?
aware of that of that survey. I am.
Yep.
Hope, I saw you give Dr. Umar the side eye.
So this is a perfect time to get a little history lesson in from Mr. Big Mike Drop, since Umar went through a little bit of the history about what black men have done, since she claims that there was no resistance. We contributed to basically the black slave trade.
Well, what she's referring to, they're conflating two issues. So the new movie that's out, The Woman King, everybody's heard of that, and the controversy behind that. The homie were from Benin, and that's the homie was in Benin, I'm sorry. And that tribe that they're talking about on that movie were number one slave traders. I don't agree with Cynthia G, because what person would purchase women and children as property and slaves if they needed work done? That's kind of contrary to what she's saying as well. You know, everybody knows that it was mostly men that came, and women were actually enslaved and brought later.
Right.
So, you know, nobody was trading women and children. Then what village of individuals would have a reason to trade their women and children? Maybe in America nowadays, maybe you could convince some of us to trade our women and children, but I don't think you could have done that, you know, back then. So
no,
I
back
mean,
then women were just spoils of war.
Exactly. You just take the women. You don't negotiate purchase for them. That's a bill. And so are kids, because you have to take care of them. So that in itself was false. I'm not a Pan-Africanist like Umar is. So Umar is coming from a state of bias as well. Because it wasn't just some chiefs. It was a global international business. You had slaves going east. You had the Arabian slave trade, and that's what she was trying to allude to. That she was talking about was the slave trade east, from Ethiopia to Arabia and places like that. But the biggest part of it was actually that part. The east was the biggest slave trade. But you had some that did come west as well. Most of them wound up in Brazil and Mexico. So a lot of times we find ourselves discussing, this transatlantic slave trade, which the numbers have been greatly beefed up. The numbers have been, the percentages have been skewed, and the information just isn't accurate out there on that. So that's kind of where I take issue with Umar, because he still tries to toe the Pan-Africanist line, and she's just intellectually dishonest. You're not going to be able to win an argument with her, because she'll just come up with non-facts.
She coming up with stuff out the air. She just like that 45, that orange dude that was coming up with stuff. And not
she
a
might
half
be worse than him. She might be worse than him.
Say that again, big bro. Yes, Big Mike. That's exactly what she sounds like right now. I'm like, dang, she's just speaking recklessly.
Yeah, she sounds like a Nazi to me. And it's a lot of that talk from both sides of this kind of purification or cleansing of certain individuals and certain mindsets of individuals. And when you start talking like that, that shit's dangerous. That's dangerous. And I'm hearing a lot of it. So I hope these people fail in what they're trying to accomplish. And I feel like they will ultimately fail, because it's not coming from a place of good. This is total evil. This is totally evil. Misinformation
to the point that you got a large, when you come on here, you like educating the masses, right? So you're able to touch many, right? So if you touch many with the same disrespect, ignorance, and untrue words, guess what we're doing? We're doing the same thing, right?
Right.
We're doing the same thing as our number one oppressor, the number one person that we talk so much about. We're doing exactly what they're doing, giving out misguided information. That's why I know I'm one that says Sankofa, because I'm telling you, African American folks, you melanated folks, reach back into real history. Don't listen to what someone else is telling you. Find your own history. Research it. Don't listen to what everybody say, because not everybody gonna tell you the truth.
Right.
But my biggest problem throughout this entire video was the lack of accountability on women, but they kept wanting to hone in on the fact that men have not been accountable. And I'm trying to figure out where that comment even came from. Where do you come up with this rhetoric that, oh, well, they're not doing this, or they're not accountable for this, or they haven't thought this, or they didn't do this. But at no point in time has a woman ever been accountable for any of her actions or what she has contributed to where we are as a community today, whether it was during slavery or today. Women still negate their responsibility or their accountability, or at the same time want to holler that they're the ones that are the head of the household. They're the ones that should be running this. They're the ones that, how you want to be a CEO and can't run 1,000 square foot home properly? But you up here wanting to talk about what men have not done, and I have yet to see what a society of a matriarchal society has contributed to today's economy.
Slaves.
Thank you.
They contribute slaves, and they in the form of people that go to prison and people that breed people that go to prison.
Right, and they're doing the same thing today. Look at all the stats. That's all they're doing is raising statistics, and they're criminalizing Black men while raising those same statistics. But they're up here complaining about modern day men, but you're the ones who raised these modern day men. So where's the argument coming from? Who are you actually mad at? Who are you disappointed in?
They baby daddy's mama. She sounds like she mad at her daddy.
Yep. Exactly. Mad at her daddies or mad at some baby daddy mamas.
Some man did her.
When are they gonna be upset with themselves? So yeah, you can be mad at your father if he wasn't there, but are you gonna be mad at your mother for kicking him out? Do you know what the actual story is? And she got a baby daddy too. I don't know what their relationship is, but if single women are the ones raising the men that they are complaining about today, how do they get the audacity to complain about what men are today when they're the ones who raised them? And how do they get to attack all men? How do they get to wrap all men up into that when they're the ones who produce the men that they complain about?
You hear what she said? Misdirected anger. You mad at the wrong one. Everybody always points the finger outward. Nobody ever points the finger at themselves. You see, the Bible said you walk in, you look in the mirror, and you immediately, when you walk away, forget what sort of person that you are. That's the way it is with most people. I look at myself, I see who I am when I'm in the mirror, but then when I walk off, I forget everything every little flaw, every little thing that I just went in there and looked at. So when it comes to her or any other woman that's not holding up their form of accountability, it's just a matter of them forgetting what sort of person that they are. Or not.
I don't think it's a matter of them forgetting. I think it's, what do they call that? Selective amnesia?
Yeah.
Because you can't talk about where we are as Black people when you're the ones contributing to the majority of our problems today. If 70% of youth problems derive from single parent households or from fatherlessness, who are the creators of that?
They're not thinking that way, though, because you got to realize they was raised in fatherless homes, too. And their mom was a strong, independent single mom, and their grandma was a strong, independent single grandma. But they not realizing that they negativity and their attitude is what it is that made the men run away to begin with and left them single.
But that's my point. So you perpetuate the poverty, you perpetuate the fatherlessness, but you want to talk about what men haven't done to get out of their situations. And you're talking about history. Today, we have modern women today that are applauding single motherism. And you have failed to break the cycle of single motherism. Matter of fact, not only have you failed to break it, you're outright refusing to break it.
Adding to it, thinking it's okay. Raising up their children to be the same way. You don't need no man to take care of you. You can do this yourself.
Doubling down on bad positions.
Right.
Doubling down on bad positions. That's a pride issue. That's an issue with pride. That's ego.
Yep.
That's all of that demonic shit talking.
Say it. Thank you. Thank you.
You know,
Thank you. That is one of the 7 deadly sins. That's what's wrong with them. Too busy worshiping the wrong things, and that's why one of them sins is all in you, and that's what you keep on portraying. That's what you keep on giving out, and you giving your kid that, and then now she about to come out doing the same thing. I don't need no boy, and that's how the alphabet get created and get started even more.
But you might as well run yourself off a cliff. You know, if you're on the alphabet tip, because you're not gonna reproduce.
You
So
ain't.
once you done having fun and living it up, you done. It's over.
It's over. That's it.
Nursing
You ain't
home will be
making
full
nobody.
of them. The nursing home will be full of them in the next 20 years.
There won't be nobody because you so busy doing the same somebody.
Right.
We can't make nobody because you too busy doing the same somebodies.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know where we're headed. I'm not gonna say I'm afraid. I am concerned. Very concerned.
I mean, if we keep having women who are supposed to be influencers in the community stepping up and speaking up and saying things like, we need to get rid of all the black men, or we need to kill off all the black babies, delete all of the black men babies, then we headed for a world of trouble.
And that's why any dude who sits up and listens to his wife or his girl listen to that woman needs to get the hell on. They need to file the paperwork or roll out as soon as possible.
Hold on, she got married women following her?
I'm sure she does.
I'm sure she does.
She has a bunch of followers, and I'm sure she has, married women that are entertaining that nonsense.
Like 125,000 of them.
Exactly. I'm sure she do.
She got women that have sons that call. I've listened to that show before because I was interested in that one show where she was talking about that particular sick concept. And she had a woman with a son that called into that show. So, no telling what's happening to that boy in that house. No telling what he's having to put up with and deal with. So, this is unfortunate. It's unfortunate.
Out here messing up our kids.
Those women got to be waiting to file divorce papers. They got to be waiting on the ink. Go ahead, Rob.
I wouldn't put up with it.
Nah.
No, she couldn't be my girlfriend.
Yeah. Hey, Tyler Perry can barely get any play in this household. So, I started to ban that Negro.
Yeah. Okay, him or Madea.
I was gonna say,
Yeah, none of that.
Hey, let's get back to this stuff.
But I agree. I did think about it, but then you know what? Madea gives out some good. If you listen to some of her with it's wisdom. It be confusing me, y'all. I'm sorry. Listen to his wisdom. It be throwing up some good points because we don't have a lot of our grandparents is what 40 now, maybe, you know what I'm saying? So be throwing out some good wisdom. So, you take it as it comes with that. Madea ain't for everybody.
Right.
Hey, check out the Greek story of Medea in Greek mythology, because that's based off a Greek character. The name is, and it's in the story of Jason and the Argonauts. But Medea killed all of Jason's children because he left her for another woman.
She did.
There's a lot of power in these names.
Right.
That's a whole nother show.
Whole nother show, but I'm sorry. I go there sometimes.
Oh no, you all right. I just was thinking when I said it, I'm thinking out loud. Like, you got to be careful what you name your child. Please.
You right about that.
You even know what you out here pinning on to your child.
But adding to that, you already know that Hollywood and all those already practice different things in that, in that lane. So, they're gonna always get involved with something questionable with all them names. You know what I'm saying? Just another thing for them. The names, the rituals, the rituals that they put on TV, the actual passages of demonic words or whatever. You know what I'm saying? They do that on TV.
I feel you.
It's real sad. It's real
But
sad.
go ahead, hit that play button. Get that going here, girl.
Get through the rest of this nonsense.
Did I?
It's only because I can't. You have 1,001 clips on the internet, but I know for a fact that one of the things that I was offended about in doing research or just seeing you on the internet is that you have definitely talked about your disdain for some of the practices of Dr. Martin Luther King. So to sit here and gaslight us as if most of us have not seen.
That's not true. Find the clip.
No problem.
Find the clip.
Well,
Find the
Dr.
clip.
Omar, you yourself
Find
said
the
you
clip.
had you yourself just seconds ago said you did find some things in the civil rights movement problematic.
But I supported the movement, and I still support it. Dr. King was not a Pan-Africanist, but one of my greatest heroes. Dr. King knew it was Garveyism to get back. He was moving in that direction. He said, Malcolm is gone, Garvey is gone. I got to hold it down. I got to hold it down. And he held it down, brothers and sisters. That's why whenever I go to Atlanta, I got to pay homage to the King. 39 years old. At 32, he was the unquestioned leader of Black America at 32 years old. You can't say nothing to me about no Dr. King. I visit
everyone supported
every
it.
time I'm in Atlanta. Nobody, I have never been
as a Black man,
of the
as a
civil.
Black person in
If we're
America.
going to have the conversation, let us be honest. Let's not misrepresent.
You're the only one not being honest, Umar. You're not being honest.
Find the clip. We don't have to argue about it. We don't have to argue about it. Find the
You
clip.
just admitted to it. We don't need
There's
to
60 seconds left on the 60 seconds left on this segment. We won't be able to find the clip on this show. But Hope finish.
But you should have came with the clip.
Essentially, whether we find the clip or not, we
information.
know that those things have been said, and you know that you've said controversial things. Once again, we see you moving the goalpost when you find that.
Controversial according to who?
We find, once again, because my thing is you and Cynthia can have that dynamic, but I give you the space to speak. I've given everybody that space to speak, so please don't interrupt me. At the end of the day,
You interrupted me as well. Let's be fair.
After he's been getting interrupted all night.
And so once again, here we go in a
But that's
space
the man
where
in
Black
him
women are
talking.
making a point. It's more important to the
It's
Black.
not about you being a woman. It was about you being incorrect.
When
It has
Black
nothing to do
women
with
are
you being
being
a woman. I
incorrect.
respect
It's
you.
more
You were
important
incorrect.
for Black men to
You were
speak
incorrect.
up.
I didn't have an issue with a woman. You were incorrect.
Well, let's all breathe in, breathe out, and I'll take a
It's not about
commercial
her
break.
being a
All
woman.
right?
She said something that was
We'll take a
untrue.
commercial break.
He's not
We'll come right back
incorrect.
to wrap this up on the business of being Black.
They hate Black men.
Yeah.
That's the problem. One of the problems with the conversation, not with you, Tammy, but the responses, they're so individualized. Nothing is being evaluated from a group perspective or a community perspective or a systems perspective or an institutional perspective. The bottom line is anything Black men want to do to liberate ourselves or our community, we can't do it without our women. And anything our women want to do to liberate themselves or the community, they can't do it without the men. It is not a competition. It should be a collaboration. But once again, some of us in the conversation are so filled with hatred for the opposite gender that we can never get around to talking about solutions. And in speaking of clips, Sister Tammy, there is one clip you might want to ask Sister Cynthia about, because it was sent to me by about 30 people several months ago, maybe even weeks, where she suggested that women, Black women, should abort their Black male fetuses because after birth, they would not contribute to anything worthwhile in the Black community. Could you ask her to clarify her comments?
I would
on
love
Black
to.
women?
Well,
Black
I would
women
love to too,
needing
but we don't
abort?
have time. So
We hurried up and got up off of that though. No, we don't got no time. We ain't going there.
Nah,
we
she
ain't
played
gonna
right through that shit. She played right through that one.
But it continued, and she asked him on another clip. It continued, and she asked him something about what he had going on coming up in the future weekend or whatever. I'm like, well, hold on. If we don't have time for her to elaborate on that, how you got time to ask me a follow-up question? Because why don't you want to talk about that? So again, we're negating accountability on behalf of women. That's what we're doing.
I
Women
would
don't
have
need
hit
to
her in the
speak up.
face with that immediately. I would have hit her in the face with that the first after introduction
You right about that.
at the beginning of the show. I wouldn't have had no civilized conversation with her. Period.
Wait, well, wait. He was saying that he respected her and all of that, but as he was talking, remember he was like, if it's 2 men and 2 women on the show. He totally just left Shim out. Because it was definitely 5 people there.
Yeah, he was just trying to be nice to that thing up top, because that was a hard face looking woman. Jeez.
And serious too, and
I'm
serious.
talking about. Hey, nose look like John Amos. Big strong face. Like what?
It's very masculine. It's very masculine.
Yeah, man, she look like she benching at least 250
on the chin, taking it on the chin.
Absolutely.
Eating all the ladies in the spinach.
And then the hermaphrodite had a response video as well to that.
Oh yeah, I heard a little piece of that. But hold on, I want people to see Hope He's a She. I want you to just play a little bit of that video. Because Hope He's a She is something else. Because I don't know how Umar didn't know. Because I'm sorry, it don't look very feminine at all. But like I said, I don't believe that they should have been invited to that panel to speak on behalf of men or women, because one, you are neither, one by choice and the other by biology.
I'm so mad.
And you mad at both?
You get to speak on behalf of either, because you're neither of them.
And you mad at both?
She's so disrespectful. Why she got me over here looking up? Why you got me over here looking up Hope He's a She?
Like that one is so confused.
I sent it to you. Rox. Rox, I sent it to you.
I'm so mad. I really had to started typing it in like Hope He's a. Wait a minute.
I sent it to you. God, it's in your messenger.
That's not that Shim's name.
That's what I'm calling Hope He's a She.
I'd rather sit up at the sanitarium and talk to mental patients than talk to one of them people.
Yes.
Wait.
I talk to animals before I talk to one of those folks.
What? I sure will, with no problem, because I can understand and communicate way better.
Right.
Especially when you can have a civilized conversation, because that has no reason to talk about anything. You mad at one because nobody probably didn't like you. That's why you want to be that. And then you mad at this because, listen, you're so confused. Just stay on your side and only talk about things that you know about. That means you know. Not you assuming, not you thinking, not you think you know, but that you know.
If I was in that panel, you know I would have asked Hope He's a She. I'd have asked him to explain what struggles as a Black man you went through that caused you to cross over to the other side, since we talking about Black struggles.
I definitely would have asked, like that would have definitely been something. I know it probably would have been rude, but I definitely would have asked, like, but wait a minute.
No, it's not rude. He got a whole video talking about the procedure they done went through. So how is that rude? How is me asking you an honest question rude? Because we talking about Black struggles, right? You want to sit here and give an opinion about Black men, which you have completely decided to run away from. So since you want to have an opinion about it, let's talk about Black man struggles.
What was yours? Did you have one?
I don't know how they were invited to speak on the subject matter. Like I said, you are neither, one by choice and one by biology. Because you don't speak for us. You don't speak for women.
But that's the play. They invite them because what's going to happen is if you start winning the argument as a male on the panel, then they're going to inject the trans into it. So, it could always, at the end of the day, they're going to either make you look homophobic or like misogynistic. I think Umar played it right by acting like it was a woman, but you could tell even by the name. Don't nobody name their daughters that. Hope Giselle. What kind of shit? That's a name a dude made up in his mind when he was trying on his mama clothes.
They stage names, people in drag. That's exactly what they are. Stage names.
You know what's funny?
Because Hope He's a She.
I had so when I was young, I used to have a toolbox full of Barbie dolls. And inside of my toolbox full of Barbie dolls, I had a Barbie doll that I named Hope, and Hope was a prostitute.
She is crazy. I'm over here dying. Like, she is crazy. Certified.
Hope is a man now. She's a prostitute. Somebody had posted in the chat a question about how do we feel when men speak for us.
I don't know
what.
I think a man should speak for the household.
Yeah.
Because see, that's another thing. A lot of women talk about they don't get protection from men. So in order for someone to be able to protect you, they have to be able to guide and direct you. If I can't guide or direct you, I cannot protect you. So when there's a man in the house, the man speaks on behalf of the house, because if the man is the protector, the man is the one that provides the groundwork. The man is the one that provides the instructions, the rules, whatever, sets the whole tone for the entire household. You cannot protect somebody if you cannot guide them. So women taking this stance that I don't have to listen to a man, or you can't tell me what to do. I'm going to do what I want to do. I'm going to live my best life, and then turn around and complain that you're not protected by men. The reason why is because nobody can direct you or guide you. If you're with your child and you're about to cross the street and the child hasn't been taught to look both ways, and you're trying to teach them to look both ways, and they won't listen to you, and they dart their little retarded asses out there in the road, the reason why they got into that situation is because they would not listen. So in order for somebody to protect you, you have got to be willing to listen to direction. So you can't complain about not being protected when you can't be directed.
They want
99% of protection is direction and guidance. That's 99% of protection. 1% is going to be a physical altercation or a reason where you got to physically get involved. The rest of it is always going to be guidance and direction.
They don't want to listen to that though. They want you to pay their bills, get their hair done, get their nails done, get their feet done, take care of their kids, take them shopping, buy them clothes, take them out to dinner, spend all your money, and then
where's the protection in any of that you named, that you listed? What does that contribute to society?
Nothing. That's some special privileges that we was talking about.
Hair, nails, none of that contributes anything to society. It doesn't better us as a people. It doesn't get us out of any poverty. None of it does.
And it definitely don't put no damn food on the table.
But who's more comfortable in poverty than a woman? And I'll say that women are way more comfortable in poverty because the system is designed to keep them comfortable in poverty.
Yeah,
like a man, you're gonna have to hit the streets if you don't have anything. They don't care if you have kids or not. You're not gonna get an apartment at the project. You're not gonna get $1,200 a month in food stamps, and gas checks and all that stuff. You're not getting none of that.
It's funny you say that. I heard an advertisement the other day. I didn't mean to interrupt you, Big Mike, but just real quick. I heard an advertisement the other day, and they were talking about, people end up homeless or whatever. And the advertisement was any woman with a child can get in, but for the men, they had to be 45 and up. So a 35-year-old homeless man can't get any assistance, but a woman at any age can. But we want to sit up here and talking about Cynthia G up here talking about women are double oppressed. Where? You know how many male homeless shelters there are in America?
A lot.
Male homeless shelters.
No.
There are women
homeless shelters. You can count them on your hand. How many male homeless shelters?
I'm gonna tell you how those male homeless shelters work too. For dudes, you got to be out of there during the day. Only thing you can do is sleep there at night.
Right.
You got to be out in the street all day.
Right.
So.
Right. So somebody had brought up a point about that, about talking about the population of homeless. I said, well, the only reason why you don't see the women out there is because they have the protection. The men have never had the protection from those situations. We never care about homelessness until it's a result of a pandemic or a natural disaster. So a hurricane comes through and makes families homeless. All of a sudden, we care about the homeless population. But when it's nothing but men standing on the corner, nobody cares about the homeless population. You don't see women rolling down their window trying to offer no assistance, throw you a meal, none of that. But you want to talk about what men have not done to better the community.
So this is what I do. I do homeless people. I do homeless families, homeless men. And there's actually more homeless men in the world than there are homeless women.
Because they don't get those services that they need. They don't get the assistance they need.
They don't get the help. I even have situations because so my nonprofit organization, we do a lot of I have a lot of men that have children that can't get help. Like, how am I? This man has his kids. He got 4 kids sleeping outside in his car with his kids. But if I made the same phone call for this lady, they would have got her in whether she had kids or not. But this man, he got to figure it out. And if it's not raining or snowing, they can sleep at the park tonight and they can call and get back on the waiting list tomorrow. Like, I have these arguments all the time, and it's real, real sad how they do our men. Even above and beyond the stuff that they have to go through as individuals on their own, they really, really have it bad when it comes to the mistreatment that we put on them. So,
And a lot of those homeless dudes be veterans on top of that.
oh yeah,
So that's even crazier. It's an indictment on how messed up our society is. We'll take care
Right.
of people who don't contribute anything. And then, but the people that risk it all, including their mental or physical health, they get to sleep under the bridge.
Right. And
They
sometimes
don't.
sometimes you get harassed for that.
I was just
Sometimes
getting
people get harassed for that. Matter
They
of fact, during COVID, when everybody was shut down, a lot of people ended up homeless or whatever. Do you know that they had cities that were going around? Now you got to think about it. Bars, hotels, travel, everything is shut down. So the tax dollars that states used to collect, they're no longer collecting. But somehow in 2021, they decided that they got tired of looking at the homeless population that was sleeping under the bridges. So they decided to build the concrete spikes up under I'm like, so hold on. So we're getting less tax dollars because y'all shut the economy down, but y'all managed to find some money to put concrete spikes down so that the homeless population wouldn't be the eyesore instead of housing the homeless population. Because I know what concrete costs. I didn't pour the driveway. I know what concrete costs.
Hey,
But you want to
and
sit
now
up here and talk about what women don't do in society, and we treat our men like they're disposable. And we've always treated our men like they're disposable.
we are.
not.
We are.
Okay.
In a sense. In a sense, we are.
Not
I've
totally
come to the
needed.
realization.
Necessity.
Hey, ladies, my earbuds are about to go out on me. Dallas D, salute to you. I appreciate you for letting me come up and rock with y'all for a minute. Appreciate
Salute
you,
to you,
sis,
sir.
at the top.
Anytime.
Thank
Hey,
you.
but we're
Is
gonna have to
that
get
Roxy?
together.
Hey, oh yeah, absolutely. We have to do a show and do some work together.
Absolutely.
For
Appreciate
sure.
it, Big Mike.
You got a show
All
that
right.
you do on your own, then definitely shout it out real quick so everybody know where to come and follow you at.
I'll
Well,
drop it.
Okay, go ahead and drop the link for me, Dallas.
Yeah. World Class, drop Big Mike's channel, please.
Hey, shout out to the World Class. I ain't even looking at the comments. Y'all are having such a good conversation. I didn't just on the screen. So hey, shout out to y'all out there, man. I appreciate you.
All right,
Y'all
have a
come
good
check
one,
out the
Big
Big
Mike.
Mike drop.
Have a
All
good
right.
day, sir.
All right, you too.
But yeah, this lack of accountability in women and always want to point a finger at somebody else, and that's what women have done throughout history. You're always pointing at somebody else and not taking accountability. And that's what this whole idea of equality that women are chasing anyway. It's them being able to play victim at the moment they get caught. Because prior to getting caught, there's aggressors, they're the Cynthia G's of the world. So you want to sit up here and make comments like we can delete all Black male babies, but on the show, she was talking about how Black men were running over to white women trying to have biracial babies.
Right.
But you're advertising today, instead of trying to fix the problem, you're advertising today that women should abort Black male babies.
Disrespectful heifer.
But to sit up here and complain that during slavery or during the civil rights era, Black men were running over there to white women, while negating the fact that white women were forcing Black men to sleep with them by telling them if they didn't sleep with them, they were going to tell them that they were forced into sleeping with them anyway. So her argument is bullshit. But the whole time you haven't provided not one solution to the problem, but you perpetuated a lot of this nonsense as we see today. You perpetuated poverty. You perpetuated social problems. You perpetuated single motherism and fatherlessness and statistics in these kids. You perpetuated all this nonsense, but you want to talk about what somebody has not done for the community. And I ain't seen what they generated yet. When Bloomberg wrote that America's facing a talent recession, it's mighty funny it came 50 years after y'all been running single parent households. Where has the talent gone? So when dad's not home, we can't produce children that have talents. We can't keep the generational things going. We can't raise children that maintain what the previous generations have put in place. Because when old girl made that comment about, oh, well, society is falling down and all that old infrastructure's falling apart. Well, again, you raise the boys that can't maintain what their fathers built. That is not an attack on men. That's a problem that you created. So when are you going to be accountable for that contribution to the fall of society or the demise of the Black community?
She can't.
Ain't nobody taking her channels down, but those same women who want to sit over here and talk about, oh, equality this, they'll go over to somebody else's channel because you made a comment about that. Oh, you're misogynist. That's a hate speech. They'll get your channel shut down. But ain't nobody trying to shut. I haven't heard a Black man yet talking about shutting Cynthia G channel down after making the comment that women should abort all Black male babies.
I ain't even listening to that lady's channel.
But it's the idea that everybody knows that the comment was made, but ain't nobody trying to shut her channel down. But you want to sit over here and talk about all men do is play victim.
They are victims. And it's sad that they have to be as victimized as they do, for real. If we gonna be all the way 100, our Black men go through it. And we gotta we gotta do a better job of being supportive to our people.
Oh, so she was reported before. She has been reported. Yep.
Oh, she probably didn't violate the community standards. Matter of fact, somebody had reported.
Never took it down.
There was a conversation about Facebook. You know, somebody had made a meme about we need a Facebook jury or something like that, or a Facebook courthouse, because people just be going to Facebook jail without a trial and stuff. And I'm like, you're right, because half the time you just miss the context of the conversation or the comment that was made. But this one woman actually put in there, she said, what's so crazy about that is I actually reported a bestiality video. There was a whole video, an actual act of bestiality. You could see everything floating around on social media. That video was reported. You know what Facebook came back and said? That don't violate the community standards. Excuse me, say what?
So you got people on here bestiality and
it's okay for horses out here.
Partaking in the bestiality.
Right. You over here graping the dog. And that's not a violation of the community standards. But women are so strong. Women are so independent. And this is what y'all doing. You got women hunting ducks. You got women French kissing fish and snakes. This is what these strong independent women do.
Listen. Y'all just raggedy.
But bestiality doesn't violate the community standards.
Yes, it do. That ain't even, man, stop playing.
Who is this community? Is it
right? Who is y'all community?
Y'all video with the girl hunching the duck.
Shut up! Not hunching the duck. Go away.
I'm gonna have to send it. I'm gonna have to find it again. I don't know if I can find it again. Yes, she laid the duck down on his back on the stage and straddled the duck.
Go away.
Straddled the duck on the stage. But this is what the strong Black woman looks like today.
No, that's not.
There's nothing about her gripping that duck's neck that made her strong. Nothing.
Right.
I refuse. I'm not. I ain't going.
Leave. Oh my God. Something's wrong with you people. Mentally wrong.
Right. There's something wrong with them. But y'all want to sit up here and talk about the failures of men. And so when 2020 happened and they shut everything down because of COVID, and people decided to, get creative with, trying to find other means of making money, men went to YouTube and women went to OnlyFans. But who's not generating what in the community again? So the only thing y'all thought to do when times got hard was get naked. Okay.
Wait.
Okay.
Listen though, speaking on them OnlyFans, I'm just saying, because when my that they was accepting feet videos, I'm like,
what feet videos?
My feet
fetish. Yes, fetishes. Yes, the fetishes.
I need to go on over there and get that COVID money. Huh? What?
You know, put your toes on there. Here, look at my toes. Yes, for the fire.
I'm over here like, Dad, take the photo.
Right. Let me flick them. Let me flick them. Let me put them in the
light.
Even when we make it somewhere, you got the Senator Tierra Mack. You reduced to somebody twerking with a birthmark on your booty. That's what you've been reduced to. This is what Black Girl Magic looks like today. But y'all want to talk about the failures of Black men. And all I see from modern women is twerking, weave jobs, nail jobs, and a pound of makeup. That's all I see. Oh, I'm sorry, statistics. Walking around with little bitty mini statistics.
Yeah.
They gonna remember. I'm not mad. And it's sad, but I'm not mad at men for wanting to just go their own way and let them do them. Because since they don't need them, let them suffer without men. Let them suffer without men. Don't screw them. Don't compliment them. Don't fix nothing. Don't go over here dealing with none of this plumbing. Don't do none of that. Let them survive without men. Because I would like to know if we do away with men, who maintaining these vehicles we riding around in? Right. If we do away with men, what happens to infrastructure? What happens to plumbing? What happens to all of these things that are typically maintained by men? Because women don't want those jobs. We fought for equality, but we don't want equal jobs. You don't see women working construction site by the masses. You don't see women working in mines by the masses. You don't see female firefighters by the masses.
No.
So when it comes to the heavy lifting, y'all don't want to do none of that, but you want to talk about what men do for society.
By the sprinkle.
Thank you, a sprinkle.
I don't want to talk about none of the negative stuff men do. I just want them to be all positive roses and sunshines. And hey, you men are great. You Black men are wonderful. We love you.
Right, world class. I can't call nobody dumb that's dumb, but you can get on here. Hey, it don't make no sense. It makes no sense.
I'm not over here about to get clucked literally.
It's not clucked.
She out here getting pecked. Girl, yeah, who recorded this for you? Like, why would you? I'm about to go duck peck me real quick. I'm about to go.
But how do you say bestiality videos do not violate the community standards? Well, I don't know if I want to be a representative of this community. I don't know if I want to be a part of this community anymore. If that's not a violation.
I don't
want it. I just want to know who these videos. That's all I'm saying.
I need consenting people that can talk. Like what? Consenting individuals talking.
And I don't mean consenting to no duck plucking.
Not at all. Adult relations. Like, what is wrong with you people?
You doing it?
Yeah, you. I promise you, I don't understand. This is what y'all turn
absolutely. To. You wonder why.
This was the creativity. But this was the creativity that came out of women when the country got shut down. Guess I'm gonna get me an OnlyFans and start gyrating on these ducks. This is what y'all did. This was your great contribution to society.
They can get that feet video, but me and the duck, no, yeah, no.
19 monkeypox, extra pox.
That's for sure.
Right.
Duck
pot. I would love to see women. I would love to see women, instead of spending the money in the hair industry, actually investing in the hair industry. I would love to see that and actually build some generational wealth. Since y'all don't need men, I still don't understand how y'all been running single parent households for 50 years and y'all still haven't figured out how to defend yourselves. So for 50 years, your house been protected. So I don't know what the hell that is, but I would like to see, since women don't need men, I would like to see the generational wealth that they have created, and I would like to understand why they don't own the hair industry by now.
They don't know why.
On the cuffs of Madam C.J. Walker, why the hell don't we own the hair industry right now?
Listen, I got something up my sleeve. I think I'm about to pull it out, man.
How do we go from Madam C.J. Walker to us investing billions of dollars in the hair industry, but not able to? I'm spending it, but not investing it. How do we go from that?
When she sold it, Because when she sold it, nobody was smart enough to go back and get it.
But we're talking about today's modern, so educated woman, right?
Get it?
That's what we talking about. We're talking about today's modern woman, the most educated people on the planet, Black women. Why don't we own the hair industry right now since y'all so smart?
They don't
Since
know.
y'all so Why California rationing electricity since women so smart? Why don't they go manage that?
They can. It's easy. Solar panels. That'd be the most easiest thing. Solar panels. Duh.
Ain't nothing free over there in that for these women, so they ain't going.
Right. When are Black women gonna hire some Black chemists to make their own products? When are we gonna do that? Since y'all complain about, oh, they don't make products for us, they don't do this. Y'all so busy trying to adopt this European beauty standard. When y'all gonna start creating your own products?
You don't even have to be a chemist. You just got to know product and know what you're doing. I know people that's been mixing and
we're not gonna eliminate the chemists. When are we gonna start going off into those? And when are we gonna start doing that? Instead of single women raising their Black boys to be nothing but football players, basketball players, and rappers. When you gonna raise the next generation of chemists?
Hell, when you want to boy, he need a trade.
But Cynthia G and then want to talk about what Black men haven't done.
I need you young Black people, melanated people, to invest in yourselves and get a career tech education, engineering, plumbing. Electrical. We always need electric in all types of housing, all types of building. We need plumbers. We need people to do drywall. So you're doing what? Home renovation, things like that, construction. Get in the field, get your hands dirty. We want you to have some calluses. It's okay to have them calluses back in the day when you used to climb the monkey bars. Get your hind parts out there and hit a nail.
Not only that, those calluses is $50 and $60 an hour calluses. So while you're out here,
okay,
yeah,
whatever.
What else was funny? If you looked at in that video, they had everybody's name and what their profession and all that. So Umar's a doctor of psychology. You had even Hope She was an author and an activist. You know what it said on the Cynthia G? Influencing YouTuber. What does that contribute to society?
She's out here influencing people in the wrong way.
In the wrong direction.
But what I'm saying is you got a doctor of psychology. You got somebody. Even though I can't support what Hope She was talking about, because I don't believe you got a leg in this fight, you were an author. I'm trying to figure out with only being an influencer and a YouTuber. But we still talking about contributions of Black men, right?
Disrespectful. Need y'all to just stay in your lane.
I've embraced mine. I went all natural years ago.
I've been natural for about 10 years now. I ain't had a relaxer.
Man, I'm nappy, been nappy for the longest. I don't care what nobody say.
But we don't want to spend the time loving our hair either. We don't want to spend the time or take the time to find the products that make our hair manageable, that give us the look that we're going for. We decide that we want to sew those or glue those looks in, and then you running around want to defend Jada Pinkett and alopecia, but you got a generation of women walking around that's going to be creating their own form of alopecia. This is y'all contribution to society.
Exactly. Ain't got no edges.
Right. This is what we've contributed to society, but we talking about what men don't do.
But my sister makes some good hair crack for the natural hair, hair. Girl, it's the bomb. Make your hair grow, make it soft. I use it, I utilize it. Hell, like I told her, whenever she get ready to mix it up, go ahead, because I'm willing to let everybody have it, because it's the bomb. So yeah, she's, like I said, and she's not a chemist, but she know hair and she know, good products for the hair. You know what I'm saying? They've been to hair school and things like that. So they, they're very, they know that part. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I'm just saying.
I don't be wanting to take the time out. That's what I'm not even gonna say wanting to. Because I got that what they call Jackie Brown afro. And
she's stupid.
Calling me every
Y'all
time.
wait till I'm done growing my hair and I come up with an afro this big on here. Y'all just wait. I cannot
See,
wait
that's
to blow
what
out me an afro.
yeah,
I cannot wait.
it don't be acting right though. It don't be acting right. Okay, I'm gonna tell you right now.
Mine don't act right either, but I'm still gonna do it. Because my hair thin, so when I wear my afro, it blows in the wind real easy. But I don't care. I'm still gonna do it.
Oh yeah, it's the time for me. That's all.
Yeah, but you know, and I just want to say this one last thing. They were talking about, you know, we talk about what men and women contribute to society and about women being leaders and all that. I don't know if y'all saw, but there was a episode of what is that survival show? Naked and Afraid or something like that, right? And or one of them shows, I don't know if it was that one or not, but they did a show where they did men and women, and they survived. They divided them into groups, and they put the men on one, you know, thing, and the women were separated. So basically, you had to survive out there in the wild with whatever tool you brought with you. Do you know that day one, men had already decided that they're gonna start building some shelter and all that kind of stuff. The women were sitting around scratching their ass to trying to figure out what the hell we gonna do next. But y'all keep talking about what men don't do or don't contribute. All I know is when the war starts, I know what warrior I want to be in front of me. And it ain't Synthetic G or Hope He's a She.
Yeah. I don't want no woman to come over there trying to help me out. Girl, go on.
I was about to say, girl, get your she would have got straight out. Get your ass out the way, girl. Get your ass out the way. I'm running. Get your ass out the way. I don't know where you running to, but I know where mine is, baby. I'm running. Get out the way. Move. That's when the Ludacris come in. Move. Get out the way.
Girl, why? Right here.
Matthew, get out of somebody's face. Get out of here.
Everything. Go on, a strong ass back over there and sit down.
Yes. Oh my God. I know where I'm headed. I don't know where you going. Woo, Lord Jesus.
You said black. Where he at though? Because you no. Ain't doing it. And I ain't taking out the trash either. So
yeah, we need to get off that. Women need to get off this equality kick. You weren't designed to be equal to him. Y'all need to get off that. We need to get back into this family structure. I don't know where we went wrong, but y'all made a left at Albuquerque, and you headed down the wrong path. And we need to get back to a family structure. We need to get back to the village mindset. And y'all need to stop thinking that y'all can do everything by yourself, because that's not what you're here for. And we've seen what you've done when you by yourself, and I'm not impressed.
Not at all. And most of y'all can't even masturbate right when you're alone. So
that's a whole conversation. With that, we love y'all.
Y'all coming out and joining us. Please make sure y'all like, share, and subscribe to our channel at Melanated and Candid. You can like us on Facebook. If you have topic or show ideas, you definitely can send them in to us. And what is it? formacproductions@gmail.com. You can send us over your show topics. Thank you guys for coming out and joining us. We're always here on Thursdays. Usually it's 9:15 Eastern time. So definitely come out and check us out again on Thursday. This Thursday, we'll be talking about the purge law.
Oh, yeah. The Illinois purge law.
Yeah, it's going to be a pretty good conversation. We appreciate all of y'all stopping out and joining us.
Y'all have a good night.
Y'all have a good evening.
Love y'all.
With you guys. Bye.